All right, guys, this is the fourth call and the last call of our Ignite the Breakthrough training series. So we've covered quite a bit. I would encourage you guys to go back and watch the previous ones. I am going to be posting under the featured tab of the Brave Collective, under the team recordings, all in one comment, the series of these so that you can revisit them at this point because we have done them for about a month. We are now opening them to the team, and you can use these as training tools for you guys. But go back and listen to them again. There is a lot of information shared in each one of these calls that you may have missed, or maybe you need to hear again and it's going to click. Different seasons, different months, different times of your business, something else is going to stand out. And a lot that was shared is some fundamental leadership training. And tonight is going to be all about the multiplication of directors, which is really important. And so tonight we're going to talk about what actually multiplies momentum. And that is not just growing wide, it's growing deep. Okay, so growing wide means enrolling a lot of people and creating a bunch of front lines, okay, which I've coached you guys on is not always the best strategy here. Maybe 3 to 5 legs and then build underneath them. Y'all remember me talking about that. What really multiplies momentum is when you grow in depth. And you do that through developing leaders underneath you. Okay. And that's how you're going to build legacy. That's how you're going to build something that lasts, that pays, that you're able to kind of walk away from for brief moments in time as you're building, right? Or eventually you can build something so big that you eventually can retire from it because you've developed leaders underneath you that creates that time freedom and financial freedom. That's the goal, right? Okay, so here's the truth. We're going to start with number one, setting the standard for directors. Here's the truth. If we don't define what a director looks like, not just in volume, but the nature of it, we're never going to know if we're building a true director leg. Okay, a true director leg. It's more than just the volume. All right, so a director leg is a team of 2,500 or more in sales. That's pretty obvious, but it's going to contain an emerging leader. And an emerging leader is somebody that's kind of rising above, that's participating, that's stepping up, that shows potential, that's hungry. Okay, a true director leg that you can develop is one with an emerging leader. Write that down. Active in chats, visible online, coachable, doing the things you're saying, attending calls, inviting others, sending out the messages. You see them inviting to the sip and share and the partner preview. That's an emerging leader. It also has some momentum, okay? Some communication and some duplication beginning to emerge, beginning to flow through that leg. This is an emerging director leg, okay? There's ownership inside of this leg, not just enrollment. Okay, nod your head if you've seen a director leg where that's just volume. There's not really leadership there. There's just volume there. Okay, it's hitting the bucket of 2,500, but is there somebody there owning that? Okay, most of us will. If you haven't, you'll see that. But a true director leg is somebody that you can identify in that organization, in your business, that has that emerging leadership ability. Okay. But here's the secret. If you're like, well, Tara, I have a bunch of those that are just hitting the 2,500 and they're not really showing the emerging part. Well, here's the secret. It doesn't just happen. You can actually create it. Okay. So how do you do that? You're going to choose one, maybe two people that are inside of that from your perspective have potential. Now, here's the thing. When you reach out to them, just because you see them have potential in your eyes, does that mean that they will always meet that? No. Okay. All right. We're going to love them where they are. Some people will rise when you call them up, and some people are just not in a space for it or ready for it, and that's okay. Okay. So we're going to choose 1 to 2 people in each of your director legs that you can rise up, call upon. Okay. Not 10, not the whole brand, not all 6 brand partners in that leg, not all 4 brand partners in that leg, just 1 or 2 that you believe will show up. You believe will lean in just a little bit more. You believe that you can get them to commit just a smidge more. That's what we're looking for. Make sense? Okay, I see Caitlin's nodding her head. Okay, good. We're jiving here. So I want you to write down this today. Who are my top 1 to 2 leaders, emerging leaders, that you're gonna focus on this month? So I want you to think about your director legs. Maybe you have one, maybe you have six, maybe you have 16. Okay, let's make it manageable for whatever you have. But I want you to identify that area of your business, and then inside of each of those, identify 1 to 2 people. Okay. And I want you, when you write their names down, let's say that I'm thinking of a leg and it's Caitlin that I'm thinking of, for example. Obviously, we know she's executive director, she's well above this. But let's just say, for example, I'm using her because I can see her face. And I say, okay, I'm going to pick Caitlin. Well, here's the ticker. Okay, if I pick Caitlin and Caitlin doesn't know that I've picked her, what does it matter? Right? So I want to make sure that Caitlin knows I see her in this emerging leader light. I want to make sure. So when you write these names down, I want you to then go, do they know that I see them that way? And if they don't know that you see them that way, make it for sure known. Okay. Hey, Caitlin, I just want to let you know I'm really seeing such potential in you. I see you emerging as a leader, and I would love to coach you and rise that up and help you hit the next level. Is that something that you're interested in? What do you think Caitlin's going to say if she's interested? Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I've got to let Caitlin know this. Okay. So that's the first step. Just because you call someone doesn't mean, or because, well, think about this. Like, if you're not calling upon the person, they're not going to know to rise. Right. So if you're not setting the expectation, if Caitlin doesn't know that I see her in that light, do you think Caitlin, for the most part, is going to rise to my potential that I see her? I mean, maybe she might have that self initiative, but don't you think it's so much more impactful if Caitlin knew that I saw something in her? Caitlin would be like, "Oh my gosh, my leader, my enroller, my upline, they see something in me. They're going to be more likely to rise to it versus staying casual and sticking with the status quo." This is leadership development. Okay. If you're not helping your team build team culture, they're going to stay in sales mode, doing the things, sticking with the 553. That's about it. They're going to do the bare minimum instead of activating a leadership mode. Okay. It's all about identifying that. So number 2 is, how do you coach for ownership? How do you coach for ownership? So that's going to be something that's going to shift your business. Okay. Here's another fact for you. If I do it all, I can't grow at all. Does that make sense? Just like Brittany, if you were to say to you yourself, if I, Brittany, do it all, I can't grow at all. Okay. And I want you to say that out loud. I know you're muted, but say, if I do it all, I can't grow at all. Say it out loud. Right. Right. You've got to develop underneath you. If you're doing all the calls, if you're doing all the chats, if you're doing all the events, if you're doing all the coaching, you have just made yourself the lid of your business. Raise your hand if you'd like your business to get to the next rank. Raise your hand. Okay, here's another fact. In order for you to get to the next rank, you have to raise the lid. Imagine a lid. Okay, this is a candle, but imagine there's a lid on top of it. Okay, and I go like this, nothing can come out of it. Nothing can go outside of the lid. So if I want this right here, like imagine I put foam in this and I put a lid on it, the foam is not going to go beyond it. But if this was a Coke and I took the lid off and I shook it, it would rise above it, right? You've got to take the lid off for it to grow. The way you do that in your business is developing leaders underneath you, which also develops you as a leader, because you've got to release some control. Okay, some control. Leadership is not just about hitting the ranks, hitting the numbers, earning the trips. It's not. It's not just about hitting the leaderboards. Leadership is not about doing all the things. It's not even about doing all the things really well. It's about passing the baton to somebody in your organization and letting them run with it. Literally a running baton. Let them run with it, feel empowered, and then watch them rise. Your goal, friends, is to develop someone better than you. I've now said that on 2 or 3 of these calls. I mean it. Okay? Ownership in somebody else means that they co-host or host a Zoom with you and your team. Maybe they help run a group chat. Maybe you message them on the side and say, hey, in our chat or in this challenge, boom, or whatever you've got going on, can you rally with me? I need your support. Rally with me. And then that puts them in a leadership position. Maybe you're doing something for your downline and they co-plan the event with you, or they run it with you, even if it's messy the first time. You've got to allow your leaders to be a little messy to learn the stuff, right? Did you ride a bike the first time you got on it and didn't fall? No, right? There's many times I ask people in our downline to be on Zooms or to go live and they're nervous and they don't know what they're doing. That's okay. In the mess, they're figuring it out, but you're calling them up. Does that make sense? Shake your head if that makes sense, where you're calling somebody up to partner with you in leadership. Okay. And here's the beauty. People don't grow by watching you lead. They grow through being trusted to lead. You can't lead others into higher developments by just being a great leader yourself. The way you develop somebody is allowing somebody else to lead. And it can be in small little increments. It can be in big ones when they're ready. Okay. So this week, I want you to identify what's one thing that you've been doing that somebody else can own in your downline? What's one thing that you've been doing that somebody else can own or co-own? Okay, maybe it's a little bit of co-ownership. Okay. And then who could you hand that to? Not as a favor, not as somebody else working for you, but as an invitation to rise up. Okay, who can you hand that off to? It can be small or big. This is where you start making director legs that are true leader director legs and not just a 2,500 volume leg. Do you guys see the difference in just a 2,500 volume leg and an emerging leader director leg, right? This is how you're going to develop that. And when you develop a bunch of director legs with leadership built in, they're going to stick and stay. And we want director legs that stick and stay, okay? And that leads to number 3, create leadership rhythms. Create leadership rhythms. Duplication doesn't happen through motivation. I could sit here and be the best motivational speaker. And I've had people in my past say that I give Tara injection shots. Like I rally and I inject you with motivation. I can do that all day long, but guess what's going to happen 30 minutes after that call? Life is going to set in. You're going to forget the words. You're going to not feel the emotion of me rallying behind you. Duplication does not happen because of motivation. It happens through rhythm. It happens through systems. Why do you think that this week I have been really heavy on system teaching, right? Back to basics has been nothing but system teaching. If you guys cannot say to me, our systems, I've failed. I want you guys to understand the systems, because it's not that I want to have control over the systems. It's when there's systems in place, your team can duplicate. I want you to duplicate. I want you to grow through the rhythm and the systems that we provide as a team, right? And if you want to develop real leadership in your team, you need to have structure, consistent structure, weekly structure, okay? Here's what I would recommend for you guys. I would have a weekly leader check-in. This can be 5 to 10 minutes. It can be a quick voice memo. It can be a Zoom. It can be a text, but you need to every week check in with your emerging leaders, especially your big leaders, okay? Check in with those people. Provide growth tools, okay? Books, podcasts, past Zoom recordings. Hey, did you catch this? Man, you really should watch this week. Fold laundry, drive home, listen to these words. Let them grow their mindset and their skill set. Develop into them. Use the promote from within model. Recognize team members who are stepping up and then pull them forward. Invite them to lead, call them out, right? That matters. And here's why, because when somebody else feels seen, when somebody else feels supported, when somebody else feels challenged, they rise to the occasion. And guess what else? They tend to stick and stay themselves. They know that you're pouring into them. They see the value of the human connection and relationship. And they're like, man, I like this environment. I'm seen and I'm valued and I'm being poured into. That matters. Okay. Most leaders don't need more pressure. Okay. I need you to do this. I need you to perform. You're never going to hear that from me ever, ever. And if I've ever made you feel that way, holy smokes, tell me, because that is like the opposite of my nature. But here's the deal. You don't need more pressure. You need more clarity and more consistency from your leader. You need more clarity and consistency from your leader. So knowing that, how are you going to lead and how are you going to show up? Clear and consistent, probably, right? If you know your people need clarity and consistency, you need to focus on being clear and consistent as a leader. Does that make sense too? Okay. So I want you guys to look at your calendar and I want you guys to make sure that you're allocating space every week to pour in to your builders. That doesn't mean it has to be a one-on-one 1 hour Zoom, guys. It doesn't. It can be, but it can be those 5 to 10 minute check-ins. It can be inviting them to co-lead on an event. It can be a quick, gift that you send somebody, right? It's checking in with them, okay? Making sure that they're being taken care of by their upline, right? There's a lot of you probably have no idea that I know what's going on in your business because I've asked your upline. Right? I can't physically check in with every person in my team, but you can better believe I'm like, okay, so and so, how's Brittany Nesbitt doing? Okay, so and so, how's Andrea doing? Okay, where's she at? What do we need? Okay, how's Caitlin doing? Right? I'm checking in with my leaders, checking in with theirs. Okay, make space for that. Maybe it's every Monday, maybe it's every Friday, whatever that looks like for you, make space for it. Because if you don't, you'll run out of time every time. If you don't put it on a calendar, you'll run out of time every time. At least that's the way it is for me. Okay. If you don't make space to develop leaders, guys, your momentum won't multiply. Raise your hand, or you don't have to actually. If you've ever experienced momentum and then it kind of fizzles out and you're like, what happened? Where'd that go? Okay. That right there. Thank you for your honesty, Andrea. Thank you. That's normal. Okay. First off, I'm going to validate you and go, you did nothing wrong. Okay. But here's how we can shift that. You can shift that by going, okay, how can I recreate the momentum, recreate the engagement? And the way you do that is by calling people up and rising with them. And then as the momentum is building, call them a little higher. Call them just a little higher. Give them a little bit more ownership. Pour into them just a little bit more, right? And you take your hands off just a little bit more. It's a very fine balance of steering the boat and letting the boat glide. Okay. Right. It is. It is. But that's how you get the momentum to continue. Because if you're like white knuckling the boat the whole time, it's gonna max out. Okay. It's gonna max out. You've got to allow it to glide a little bit. That's what we're looking for. The easy momentum, right? The momentum that feels smooth, okay? And that leads to number 4, right? Build culture and celebrate the heck out of it, okay? Celebrate the heck out of it. This is the secret sauce of developing director leader legs, okay? You don't multiply momentum with just systems and strategy. You need those. Oh, do you need those? You need them. You need the systems, you need the strategy, but the way you multiply the momentum is by multiplying the culture. Okay. And the culture comes from you developing and recognizing and helping see and feel and helping others feel seen, feel understood, feel valued. That's where the culture comes in, the emotional piece. Don't just spotlight the numbers, spotlight values. You'll see me every once in a while call somebody out as a spotlight leader, or maybe I'll post on their wall. Okay, who's showing up when it's hard? Who's showing up when it's hard? Who's cheering others on in the chat? Who's being a collaborative leader? Who's loving on people, even if it's not their own winning season? Who's creating content and willing to stand up and go, I'll help, before they're even getting results? Catch that, celebrate that, build upon that, and do it consistently. This can be a regular team shout out in your chat, a quick, hey, just want to shout out so-and-so, Andrea, she's been doing so amazing, right, in a team chat. Or it could be a private, hey, I see you. It's a text message. I see you. I'm proud of you. Or, hey, it could be a message where it's like, hey, I know your goal is 5,000, but girl, I know you could do 7,000 because I believe in you. I want you to step it up because I know you can step it up. That kind of belief in somebody. Or somebody might have counted out a beach retreat for themselves and they get a message from me and say, no, girl, you're going for it because you can do it, right? Those types of reach outs, handwritten notes in the mail, a quick little handwritten note or a small, small gift, team shout outs, right? Not just at the rank ups, but when you see somebody leading with integrity. This is culture. This is culture, okay? Allocate some time in your week just for team culture. Set aside 30 minutes every week to go, I'm going to focus on team culture. Who can I love on? And if that's 3 people in 30 minutes, if it's 5 people in 30 minutes, what am I going to do for that 30 minutes? 15 minutes. Okay. People are not going to stay for income alone. People are not even going to stay in your business for success alone. Y'all, they won't. They're going to stay because they feel a part of something. And I won't call her out because she's not on this call, and I'm not going to say her name out of respect. She will share her own story. But someone recently just joined our downline, and this is how I know that this is true. Well, I could also say with my own story. She was at the highest rank she could have possibly been at, her highest pay, and she walked away from her business because she was making great money. She had the rank, but it was not, there was no culture that she felt safe in. I was at my highest pay, my highest rank when I left Plexus, my former company. Income alone is not going to do it. Culture is what builds loyalty. People stay because they feel a part of something. And guess what? You get to build that. You get to decide what that looks like on your team. You get to decide what people want to stay for. Okay, so as we wrap up our 30-minute call here tonight, here's your homework. Okay, number 1, identify 1 to 2 director emerging leg leaders. Okay, who is emerging leaders inside of your director legs? 1 to 2 people. Write their names down. Set clear expectations and start handing off some ownership. Remember how I said, what is it, something that you could release your white knuckles from a little bit and invite somebody else to participate. Maybe you're like, well, I'm not really running anything for my team, but I'm helping my upline run some things for the team, or I'm kind of participating in that. Still the same. So maybe you do that, but you go, hey, upline, I really feel like Susie Q could participate too in this, right? Figure out how to start off handing some ownership. Number 3, build weekly rhythms of connection and growth. Okay? Weekly leader check-ins and weekly leader culture makers, those recognition, those little, I see you, I value you. Okay? And then that's kind of bleeds into number 4 is creating that culture that celebrates values and vision. You guys are not just leaders, right? I'm going to say this, and I want you to say this out loud, even though you're on mute. You're a leader of leaders. Say, I'm a leader of leaders. Yes. Yes. And I know for some of you, that's like, well, I don't know about that, Tara. I don't know. Okay. It's okay. It's okay because I do. I know what we're developing on this team. And I know for sure as heck, we are leaders of leaders. We are duplicators. We are leader manufacturers. Okay. We are making them. Okay. You are a leader of leaders. The way you lead your team teaches others how they can lead theirs. You guys have this. You guys can multiply that momentum, and it starts with 1 director leg at a time. All right. I love you guys. I hope this series has been helpful for you guys. You're going to be able to find it under the featured tab, team recordings. All 4 will be listed shortly. Love you guys. Bye.